Hey, welcome in to a March 30th edition of the Lowdown, presented by Lehman's Hardware and Old Time General Store. I'm Bruce Hooley. It's been a while, right? I took a little break after the boys' state tournament, but we are back at it now as we've got a couple things brewing, and we are in the middle of what is really up and down Ohio State baseball season. Man, what is with the Buckeyes? They beat Oklahoma. They beat Mississippi State. Hey, they're really good, right? And then they lost, like 5 out of 6 or something like that. They got housed by Xavier the other day at home, 8-1. They're back at it this weekend, 3-game series against Minnesota. They got swept by Indiana. Ohio State did last weekend in the Big Ten opener. So hopefully they can bounce back this week against Minnesota because, wow, what a roller coaster ride it has been so far for first-year coach Bill Mosiello. Speaking of roller coaster rides, we thought when Tri-Village girls won the Division IV state championship that was a walk-off into the sunset moment until Riley Sagister, runner-up for Miss Basketball in the state of Ohio, started her college career at Marshall. After all, she'd been committed to Marshall for like 2 years. But what you didn't know was that between Tri-Village's win over Berlin Highland in the semifinals on Thursday night and Tri-Village's win over Toledo Christian Academy in Saturday afternoon's finals, Marshall lost its head coach. He moved on to another opportunity. I think he might have gotten out of Dodge before they told him to get out of Dodge. But whenever there's a change in college, everybody who's committed to that college is now a free agent. Now, it doesn't mean you have to leave. The coach coming in might still want you, and you might mesh with the coach, and you might continue your commitment and follow through on what you've already signed to attend and become a player at that school. But in this case, Marshall hired a coach from Glenville State. So they brought a coach up from Division II, a highly successful coach, but it's a strange system, let me put it that way, that Glenville State plays, because I had the opportunity to familiarize myself with Glenville State quite by accident, because Glenville State was one of the teams beaten by Ashland University on Ashland's way to the Division II National Championship game, which will be played this Saturday. And if you have the CBS Sports Network, you can watch the Ashland Lady Eagles play for the national championship on Saturday afternoon at 3:30. Why would you want to? Well, because A, they're an Ohio team and it'll be a really good game to watch, but B, because one of Ashland's players is Macy Spielman. Yes, the daughter of Chris Spielman. So you got a little connection there. And I'm going to be watching that, rooting for Mace, rooting for the Spielman family, rooting for Ashland, which is a basketball powerhouse. Anyway, I watched Glenville State play, and I'm like, what are they doing? They run subs in and out of the game like a hockey line change. 4 in, 5 in, 4 in, 5 in. Like every minute they're running them in. And I do not have any inside intel on this at the moment, but I thought right away when I heard that coach was going to Marshall, that's going to be a really hard kind of a system for a shooter like Riley Sagister to fit into, because a shooter needs to be out there and do what? Get in a rhythm. So I'm not surprised that Riley Sagister has, I buried the lead, reopened her recruitment. Now, she will, of course, be a hot commodity on the recruiting market. I'm doing some research right now, and we'll have a story on Riley, hopefully, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, on Riley's kind of unexpected re-entry into the recruiting market. But whoever gets her is getting, as you well know if you've watched Tri-Village, somebody who can knock it down 3, 4, 5 feet beyond the arc, which most guys can't do, and somebody who pretty good ball handler. And here's the one thing, the best thing about Riley Sagister: great young lady, tremendously hard worker, hungers to get better, has made herself a much better player throughout her career at Tri-Village, and I wish the best for her family, and we will keep you apprised of wherever Riley Sagister heads. Now, speaking of recruiting and basketball, we're in the middle of the transfer portal, right? We got tons of people in the transfer portal, and Ohio State has its eyes set on a guard from Towson and a forward from Harvard. Now, I know when I saw forward from Harvard, I was like, oh, another Seth Towns. No, let's hope not. Seth never was able to really get on the floor and play. Injuries didn't give him a chance. It was a bad break for him. It was a bad break for the Buckeyes. But this forward from Harvard is supposedly like a man's man and a real factor and rebounds everything, which Ohio State could definitely use. But the problem is, guess who else wants these two guys? North Carolina and St. John's. And if you say, St. John's, what's the threat from St. John's? Oh, you must not have heard. St. John's has hired Rick Pitino as its head coach. So let me just say this. There are those who felt Rick Pitino was paying players when he was at Kentucky and Louisville. And now that he's allowed to pay players at St. John's, seems like a big hurdle for Ohio State to get over to get either one of those two guys, a forward from Harvard or a point guard from Towson or a scoring guard from Towson. All right. Spring football continues. Buckeyes still trying to sort out that quarterback battle between Kyle McCord and Devin Brown. Does anybody really think it's going to be Devin Brown? I don't. I think it's going to be Kyle McCord, but what do I know? Our Jeff Gilbert knows. He's on top of it. Follow Gibby as he writes about Ohio State football throughout the spring. Make sure you don't forget about our friends at Lehman's Hardware and Old Time General Store. They are the exclusive sponsors of the Lowdown. We got an end of the month coming up, which means you know what? A $50 gift card from Lehman's will be awarded to one lucky listener, one lucky watcher, viewer of the Lowdown. All you got to do is send me an email, pressproscontest@gmail.com, pressproscontest@gmail.com. If you forget that, the directions for how to enter are on the crawl at the bottom of this video. And remember, too, that you're a winner at Lehman's, whether you get the $50 gift card or not, because you can get 15% off any order at Lehmans.com, LEHMANS.com, when you use the promo code PressPros15. And I say, what is Lehmans? I don't even know what it is. Well, I really can't tell you everything that it is because you have to go and experience it in person to get the full understanding of what Lehmans is. It's a tech store, an antique store. It is a throwback store. It's a candy store. It's a kitchen store. It's a gardening store. It's a store where you're going to find the perfect gift for the hardest to buy for person on your list. And you're going to be treated like a king because the people are awesome. It's an Amish country, so you're going to get the Amish hospitality. You're going to be able to grab a piece of homemade fudge. You're going to be able to eat in the cafe. You're going to be able to browse around, kill a couple hours, enjoy a day trip. It's spring in Ohio. It's beautiful. Why don't you pay a visit to Lehman's Hardware and Old Time General Store, 4 miles south of Route 30 on Kidron Road. You cannot miss it. Just before you get to Worcester. I had to rethink it because I've been there so many times, but I got to rethink where it is. But yes, or you can visit it online right now, LEHMANS.com. You'll get a flavor for it, but you really have to go and experience it. All the New Bremen people who I sent there, all the Marion local people who I sent there back during football season, because you drive right by Kidron Road on your way to Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, thought, can't be that great, Bruce, can't be that great. You wouldn't believe how many people have come up to me since and go, wow, thanks for the tip on Lehman's. I'm going to go there sometime when I'm not on my way to the state football finals because I didn't spend enough time in the store. No, you didn't, because you didn't listen to me. I will not steer you wrong on a tip to go to Lehman's Hardware and Old Time General Store. With that, I'll say goodbye to you. Wish you a happy Thursday. Hope everything goes well for you today. And tough week. I know it's been a tough week. Let's pray for our country. Let's pray for our school kids and their safety. And let's stay optimistic. The greatest thing about this country are the small communities that we feature, and the big ones too. But we argue about a lot of things these days. We argue about seemingly everything these days. But one of the reasons why I have hope is because of what I see when communities unite behind teams, unite behind players, as we have seen during football season, as we have seen during basketball season. There's a lot of good in the bond between a school and a community. That's what we feature here, and that's what we continue to hold on to at a time where it is hard to find sometimes other things to hold on to for hope. So with that, have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you again soon here on the Lowdown, presented by Lehman's Hardware and Old Time General Store.